Hello, Travis.
Hi, Mina.
So nice to have you on We Can Learn to Learn podcast. As you know, my platform is really mostly for educators, for parents, from
Yeah.
the scope of education. And so those are the questions that I bring to you, including attachment.
hmm
Oh my goodness, attachment is so important for the students, and I find many of them just craving for it.
hmm
And it really interferes in their ability to pay attention. Talk about ADHD,
Yeah.
uh, to focus, to connect with other people. How can we, as parents, and I'm a parent also, how can we as parents create a safe haven for our children to, to feel okay about themselves, that they are good enough? Because we do have certain parents who are A types, high functioning executives,
Mm-hmm.
who are just driving themselves and driving their children, and the children just feel unseen. Can you
hmm
address that, please?
Yeah, it's a big question. So I could generalize it here because there's a lot of bits and pieces to that question. Going back to the first thing you asked is how can we create, kind of a safe haven? I have three children of my own, and um, really what it comes down to, and I'm borrowing from Tina Bryson's work and Dr. Dan Siegel's work. They've been writing books of the past 10 or so years geared towards and for parents, and kind of blending some of the neuroscience from Dan Siegel's work and interpersonal neurobiology and Tina Bryson's work with her kind of focus on children and kind of their research on attachment theory. And really, they came up with the four S's. I'm sure you've heard this, right? To feel safe, seen, soothed, and secure. And so part of that is it's more like a roadmap of what are we all needing. And the funny thing is about all of this is that, it's not just children that need this, but adults as well.
Sure.
Um, because it's a human need. So whether we're a type A or not a type A, whatever our personality is, really, when it comes down to personalities, all have their beautiful natural gifts and abilities. Um, I'm a fan of the Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, some other personality inventories that kind of help give more shape and color to the array of personalities out there. And having three kids of my own, I see very different personality types and subtypes and how we reach them. But really, the core foundation is all the same. My child needs to feel safe, first and foremost. So how do I create safety? Well, that's quite practically um, in beginning with me, my presence. Or my wife's presence, right? So it's tone, and I'm even now borrowing stuff from polyvagal theory when Dr. Porges talks about, ventral vagal tone, and that's our prosody of voice. How do I talk to my children? What presence do I bring? Um, Creating safety is a felt thing. It's not necessarily intellectual safety. It's a felt safety, meaning do my kids have this sense of they can trust me, that I will respond to them, I will engage them, I'll play with them, I will listen to them, I will um, create a space where they can explore, right? Going back to attachment theory, is that when kids feel safe enough, they're able to explore knowing they have a safe haven to return to. And so you see that in small children. You just kind of see it unfold naturally. I don't teach my children this. In fact, they do it on their own. Now, as they get older, they start to find their unique ways of navigating the world, right? And having three kids, I can see the different needs and with the order, so to speak, of what they need to calm their nervous system or to move through or to feel secure. But safety is number one. The environment plays a role too. Uh, I think environment plays a big role as well. The physical presence and what are you around? What kind of, uh, I guess, neighborhood are you in? And I think that has a piece too. But I would say that that's probably secondary to the primacy of the relationship in the home. So it starts there, but and it kind of spreads out. Like layers make a difference. Like if you're in a high, for example, gang, excuse me, if you're like in a high gang crime violent area where you're hearing gunshots and police overhead, like that affects the nervous system. Now, that doesn't mean that a child doesn't feel safe enough, because they could fully feel safe in the presence of their engaged parent, even if there's the chaos happening around. But there's still an impact. There's still like a drain that happens, that there's still some sense of it's not fully safe, right? Versus if you're, in a really quiet, I don't know, home that has all this land. You hear nature and trees and the birds, and that's going to also have a very different impact on the nervous system. So even the environment can play a safety, I know you work with educators, so even school systems.
Oh,
How are schools designed to create safety? I think of the book Our Polyvagal World. In fact, Dr. Portis and his son Steve, sorry, son
Beth?
Seth. They talk about, how are school systems designed? A typical school, right? Is it one that's live with green space and warmth, or is it more cold? More prison-like, I think he kind of mentioned.
Yeah.
And so there's all these things. And so safety really, though, starts with it's all relationship. And so if I'm creating that safety, so how am I talking to my kids? How am I showing up? And as I do that, as I create safety with my children, um, we then have that second piece, right? To be seen. So seen is I'm engaging them. I'm acknowledging their personhood, their emotions, their thoughts, their questions, um, their distress. I'm able to kind of name it, to sit with it, to help them ride those waves.
Yeah.
And as I see that, as I create safety and I'm able to see them, and seeing again is verbally saying it, it's physically saying it with my body, it's
Yeah.
my emotions, right? Then they feel soothed, right? And soothing is that kind of natural co-regulation piece, which is tying in polyvagal theory again,
Right.
which is the co-regulation with the nervous system. And that happens naturally.
Yeah.
Soothing, you don't force it, it just comes. And then you could see
Right.
it shift. And
Yeah.
many times I've seen my kids be soothed, where they start off in tears and snot and the upsetness and with the frustration. And then as I sit with them, I bring my presence in, I acknowledge their emotional state. And it's not necessarily about agreeing with behavior or not. It's more about I see where they are,
Yeah.
starting with where they are. And as I say that, as I name that, as I'm with them, their body's able to relax, and you'll see a natural soothing
Yeah.
come over them. Now, a quick example: my eldest son, who is neurodivergent, to twice exceptional, so level one autism and ADHD. Um, helping him navigate his nervous system, it's all the same, but it's there's a slight difference. Meaning knowing that some of that emotional, I guess,
Stickiness?
stickiness, yeah, is a little more sticky with him, and I know that, and so there's more. I would say, I don't want to say I have less grace for my other kids, but there's more grace and patience with him, primarily because I know that there's another hurdle.
Yeah.
There's another layer, and it's not that I'm, again, less with my others, like, well, you don't get extra chances,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's something different, that there's an awareness of, okay, like I might have to be a little more directed in guidance here to help him, where he
Yeah.
might sometimes struggle to make that connection. I might need to name it more.
Right.
And not to be overly on the nose, but it's I got to be aware of that, and also allowing him to maybe stim.
Yeah.
Okay, he might need to move his body,
Yeah.
where because that is something that helps him navigate his emotional state or move or pace, and that is not necessarily a sign of like disrespect, or he's not looking at me. That's not a sign of
Ah,
disrespect. That's actually what his nervous system needs. And so even having that awareness shifts of like, okay, I could see this is him navigating it. I don't take this personal. And so even that creates a sense of safety, of this awareness with him. But he loves hugs. So his first thing is I can get him a hug, and that's pretty quick to help like that first layer to relax. Where my middle son and daughter, they're not huggers first, I would say. So I got really used to my first son loving hugs, and so I'd try that with my second and third, and they didn't want it. I had to learn that they needed presence but space at first. and it's just different. So learning how to adapt to all three kids, one as a parent is, it's a challenge sometimes of like, okay, who needs what? And but I'm still creating that sense of safety and soothing. And then of course that foundation is a security. And what I see too repeatedly over time is that once that security is like you lay that foundation of attachment, it is much easier to engage with your children. There's more trust. It's like, or even with my spouse, right? When there's that sense of security, there's more grace and space. I think of like there's an emotional bucket, relational bucket that if there's a deficit or sorry, if there's a withdrawal from a conflict or withdrawal because of emotional distress,
Yes,
there's this capacity for trust because I know that my parent, my dad, my mom will respond to me because they've done it so many times.
that's
There's
right.
this, it's a little easier to navigate and to come back down to baseline or ventral because of this consistent pattern. Not perfect,
That's right.
consistent.
Right.
However, versus a kid whose maybe home is more consistently not so secure, where consistently there's more threat, where consistently there's more uncertainty. It's much, there's more hurdles often for
Sure.
them to return because well, what is safety? What is, I don't really know what that is mentally, emotionally, physically. I don't know what that is.
Right.
Baseline for them might be, I need to be on alert all the time. I
Yeah.
might need to always be on guard or shut down. And so if you have a kid in these two environments, and so I think attachment's so vitally important. In fact, my wife, she wanted to, she was a teacher, she was an elementary school teacher, as her career. But we made the decision, and from her leading, because of attachment, she's like, I want to be home when the kids are young.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
want them going. And this is what everyone's got different opinions on this. There's different research on this.
Yeah.
We made the decision. No, I'm choosing. And there's a sacrifice with us choosing that going on to one
Yes.
income. I'm just saying that. Like we had to give things up,
Yep.
but we found there's a need for having her presence as the main primary source of safety, of soothing, of connection to lay that foundation. That was our personal choice, and the fact they were able to do that was a blessing. I know not everyone can make that choice. We did, but we had to make sacrifices. But we saw the importance and primacy of a parent, and it could have been me.
Yeah.
I could have done it as well. It's not that it had to be her, but we felt that was best, and she was really leading that charge, I would say. I'm like, okay, let's do it. In all my studies at the time of grad school, I'm like, yeah, there's something about this attachment thing. We really got to lay the foundation to be that. And I've seen it, man. It's powerful when you have these kiddos who can really trust, and
Hmm.
there is this kind of felt deep, like soul knowing.
Right.
And it's not to say we don't have mistakes. That there's still big emotions. Like that stuff all happens, but there's something different about inside. There's a knowing that they have value and worth the way they, and it goes beyond just regular emotions. There's a sense that they have value and worth, and they're loved, and they're seen. They can trust people. They're open to explore the world. Like I've seen it unfold.
Yes.
And
And
I've worked in other environments. And I remember in grad school, I was doing my initial work. I worked at an elementary school in a high crime um,
neighborhood.
neighborhood. And seeing the difference from like my kids
Yeah.
and kind of because of the environment we had versus the kids here that, dads were in prison, gang violence,
Yeah.
like drugs, like it, it was like night and day.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
you could not argue it.
No. You.
Like there was no, it was clear.
Yes.
And I felt for these kids. And the only thing I really could do, and of course I was learning this stuff in grad school, I just played with them.
Yes.
And it's
Right.
funny because playing with them, I would see a shift. So I
Yes.
had this time with them that wasn't that long, but I remember quite a few of these kiddos coming in just like real quiet, just wouldn't talk. And I would just play handball. I would shoot hoops. And then they would start to open up and begin to trust because I was bringing a sense of safety and consistency where
And
I was
movement.
just, and movement and listening. And so it began to them, they had this like pocket of safety, of connection, of just, human connection that was loving.
Yeah.
and they would just brighten up and they'd be stoked to
Yeah.
see me, and then eventually they'd come in and they weren't quiet anymore. They'd run and be stoked and excited, and they'd
Yeah.
grab the ball. They'd be out in the first on the field, and
Right.
so I saw this shift. So I'm like, okay, it takes like one person. Now
Mm.
the part that was hard is I knew they were going home to an environment that really was anything but safe, and that was really hard, I think, to hold that, knowing that I had this pocket, but then they go home. So what I leaned on, it was like at least they had someone in their life for a season that they felt there was a shift for them. And
Absolutely.
my hope is that planted a seed
Yes.
for their little mind,
Yes.
that they have a memory bank of, oh, at least I know what it felt like here
Yes.
in Travis's office or at the playground.
Right.
And I think we all have experience to that with like teachers. I mean, I look back, I remember the teachers that like said hurtful things to me, and I
Yeah.
remember the teachers that were like the most loving, like it's in my mind. Like I could bring it up. Miss Cassis was like the most loving fifth grade, like she was my fifth grade school teacher. The most loving, like warm. I don't remember anything we learned in fifth grade, if I'm honest, but I remember her. I remember her presence. I remember her
Yes.
energy.
Yes.
Uh, but then I also remember other ones that
We're terrifying.
were terrifying and shaming,
Yes.
and and I remember that, like it stands out, like I visual, right?
Right.
That every day walking into that classroom, you just felt tense. I'm like, I don't
Yes.
know what to do in here. And
Right.
so there's something about it, it goes beyond words. It's felt.
Mm-hmm.
And we pick that up.
Yeah.
Humans pick that up. We read that. And so creating that home safety environment, and by the way, however you do that, whether you can stay at home or not, it's not necessarily about staying at home. I'm not making that the point of like if you don't stay home, you don't have safety. Not at all. It's about how you show up.
Yeah.
And it's
Exactly.
about how present are you with your kids when you're with them.
Yes.
It's about also, more importantly, knowing your nervous system,
Yeah.
because I had to be aware of myself for my kids,
Exactly. Right.
right?
So we're not and keeping this at bay, this device here. In other
Right,
words, not just saying uh-huh, 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 and being
right.
on our
Oh,
phone
yeah. Oh,
because
yeah.
because you know it's so fascinating that the gaze is so important.
Yep.
They are looking for your eyes.
Oh,
They want
totally.
to be looked at.
Oh, yeah.
And so so I have
Yeah,
I have a young man who had tremendous learning delays as a result of attachment issues
mm,
because the parents got divorced
mm,
and the father was a raging alcoholic who was emotionally violent,
mm,
not physically violent. And then the young man went into depression when the parents actually separated. And in their home, nobody knew how to handle emotions.
mm.
Can you speak to that? Because
Uh,
not being able to handle emotions is very prevalent.
yeah, I mean, I guess with that case example of someone who wrestles with alcohol and was emotionally violent. Now, I don't know where mom in this story, her presence or lack of presence, how she was. Um, but someone who's dependent on a substance, whether that's alcohol, whether it's food, whether it's being on a device 24/7, I mean, it all really is somewhat similar. Now, of course, there's some uh, your liver will say something different about that. But I think nervous system wise, it's all doing a similar, it's serving a similar purpose to help regulate the nervous system, and usually putting it into some type of numbing shutdown state. So with that said, if this child's primary teacher, because what is a parent really is a teacher, um,
Nice.
like discipline, and I'm borrowing from Tina Bryson here on this. Discipline is not about punishment. Discipline is about teaching.
Yeah.
And so if I'm teaching my child through discipline, again, not about punitive punishment, but I need to guide and direct and teach a skill.
Yeah.
If what is being taught is numbing, through alcohol or whatever, fill in the blank, whatever the substance is, if that's what I'm consistently seeing, that my parent or parents are somewhat moving towards disconnection, not dealing with it, not, well, sorry, they are dealing with emotions, but like through emotional suppression, through avoidance, through numbing, through distraction, I'm learning. So I'm being taught, whether it's implied or explicit or implicit, and
Yeah.
this is probably implicit learning here, that I'm just watching, I'm learning that we distract, we avoid, we don't name, we don't talk about it. And then on top of that, if dad was emotionally uh, violent, so using words, well, then my nervous system, I'm going to be in a fear state of like, when is dad going to explode? And this could happen if mom was drinking too. I mean, I've had many clients that it was the mother who was struggling with alcohol and dad wasn't. So I'm not saying it's gender specific, but in this study it was dad. So really, dad's not even connected or present, meant emotionally. He's disconnected. There's a threat constantly or consistently with dad. So I learn to avoid emotion, and then I'm getting threatened with his emotions, probably rage is my guess, and anger. And so then I'm constantly under threat. And so what do I need to do as a kid? Well, I mean, depending on the kid, I've seen it go many ways. One is maybe they just shut down, wait, wait for the rage to be over. So they're more emotionally numb, more withdrawn, more isolated, more you would call it maybe depressed, quote unquote. I've also seen other kids go the other way though in a similar environment where instead of shutting down, they fight. They go towards being the bad kid or the problem kid who fights back versus the let me just withdraw and avoid. I've also seen the other kid who becomes the pleaser, right? The classic, I'm going to please everybody. Let me please dad. Let me please mom. Let me make sure they're
Right.
happy. But it's still, in a way, unable for the child to really be seen through the secure because it's all this I have to deal with, either fight or please, right? Or appease them, or I just shut down and numb out. But all those ways is still not, I'm not safe. It's still survival. It's just different variations of how I survive. And
Correct.
so I'm not able to really be taught how to effectively move through emotions or learn how to listen to emotions
Yes.
or learn how to use emotions to inform me. I
Yes.
learned to shut parts off and to avoid certain things because maybe what I was told, what I was shown,
Right.
and that creates this blueprint. I call it blueprints. It's a blueprint. So as I become an adult, that is my blueprint. And
Yes.
then guess what? I get into a relationship with someone else who has their blueprint,
Yeah.
and then we try and make it work. And I've done couples therapy for years. I don't do it as much now, but early on in my career, I did a lot of couples therapy. You see these two blueprints come together, and it was a big hot mess because it's we got the avoidant, we got the anxious, and so you see it happen because there's these kind of automatic responses to these blueprints that were more survival out of anything because I had to navigate their environments. But what happens as adults is we don't think about that as survival. We think this is just what normal was. And
Right.
so then we get together and
Yes.
we start to make it work. And then when we have conflict as adults, we kind of see some very similar patterns
Yes.
and we blame our partner. Well,
Yes.
it's their fault.
Yes.
And usually what I've tended to see now, of course, there's some truth to that. It might be partly their partner, but it's also them too. It's like, well, what's this pattern? Where'd you learn this from? And it always goes back to childhood because that's the baseline for everything. We soak everything in, the good, the bad, the ugly. And the hope is that we have guides, parents, i.e. parents, or good teachers, or good mentors,
Yeah.
good people in our life that could help guide.
Yes. Just one person.
One person is enough for a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Ideally, it should be the parents.
Ideally. I think in this country and some other countries where individualism plays such an important role that, you're supposed to be able to deal with your emotions yourself. And if you don't, then it's somehow a reflection on you. And in particular, men and boys, I don't think they're encouraged to listen to their emotions. If they show emotions, they might actually be punished. And
Hmm.
from a very young age, shamed for having emotions. And
Hmm.
the young man that I was talking about, his mother he went and told his mom, "What should I do about this?" And the mom said, "Imagine your father is a beer bottle. Just put whatever you think, put him in there and on the shelf." Well, that's that's maybe good for a short period of time, but what does it do internally? Can you like go into specifics about how families can really have emotionally intelligent children who can talk about their emotions, even if the parent never had that? So to begin with,
Yeah. Well, it starts with the parent then. I guess to your question, I can't put it simply. If I never had that as a child, then it's up to really it's on me then to relearn that.
okay,
It's up to me to then do my own healing work in order to pass that down. So, I mean, that's what you're asking is like if a parent ever had that, how do they change that? Well, they have to work on themselves. It requires that to understand their story first of all. What's my narrative? What's my story? Where did I come from?
yeah,
Why why how does my behavior make sense given my story?
yeah,
And is it really sustainable and healthy and effective?
yeah,
Well, in this particular scenario, bottling emotions might make sense to her story. Maybe that's the only thing she could do. Put her parents on a bottle and, put it on the shelf and don't go there. Maybe, I'm making a guesstimation. I don't know this woman. I don't know her history, but my guess is probably there was something in her history that showed her not to like say no or stand up or do something or that's my wild guess.
yeah,
And so she has a blueprint. So we need to understand her blueprint. And it's up to me as the parent to know my blueprint, to then do my work to say, oh, okay, well, here's why I had to do what I had to do. And I know deep down that's not enough. Here's what I can say. I would say everyone I've talked to, outside of a few with pretty severe mental illness, like I'm talking severe schizophrenia. Um, 'Cause I did a stint in my post grad work in a partial hospitalization program with
yeah,
severe mental illness, and so outside of someone really who doesn't have the capacity to understand, because there are people that they can't make that connection, and it's not their fault. It's like it's doesn't. There's
yeah,
no connection. It's a broken bridge, and they just can't understand that concept. So I'm not talking about that people who really have a significant, pretty severe brain issue. Um, I'm really talking about most people that I've talked to. When I when I work with people and I hear their story, their narrative about how their parents were to them, something scary like dad yelling or screaming or mom placating, say, well, that's just dad, put it on the shelf,
yeah,
right? And when I get to that place of high emotion and pain,
yeah.
99.999999999% of the time, when I ask, well, what did you need?
Ah,
So I would say everyone says something to the effect of, I needed, and it's usually around nurture or protection or both or guidance. It's like, I needed someone just to hug me and say, it's okay.
mm,
I needed someone just to tell me that that I'm here,
yeah,
or to stop what was happening. This is not okay.
yeah,
What your mother's doing or saying is wrong. This is not you. This is them. Or what your dad is doing or saying is wrong. This is
yeah,
not you. This is a them issue. So what it boils down to is we all need protection and nurture
yeah,
and guidance. And so it all always, and people have this knowing in their gut level. When I get to that point, they know deep down that's what they need or needed.
yeah, yeah,
And so when they're able to say that, it's like, so we all know deep down something was off,
yeah,
something was terrifying.
yeah,
So we're able to kind of name it especially when kind of that open space.
Yes, the
Now it's just
safe
now
space.
we're in a safe space where I feel safe enough to say it or speak it, and like, oh my gosh, I can tap into it. And now it's just replicating that in the moment. And so it's really dependent upon the parent to change in order to help the next generation of the child. I'm a big believer in that. Like you cannot expect your child to regulate their emotions if every 5 seconds you're flying off the handle. That is it. That's your projection of like your own need that you're unable to do. And you need probably some professional help to help you, to guide you, to teach
Yeah,
you. So expecting your child to do it when you don't,
that's like no-win situation.
well, totally. And a lot of parents like this, I think, who are stuck in their own dysregulation tend to have high unrealistic expectations of their kid because I think it's also a projection of their own psyche.
Yeah, yeah,
So they're able to, so I project on my kid and all my pain to them. It's like, well, it's them, not me.
right,
It's much
right.
easier to blame my kid's lack of regulation skills or whatever,
Yeah. I mean, the
than look
teachers.
in the mirror.
It's also the teachers. They
True.
always make the child the problem. It's like, what about
Right.
you?
And teaching is hard, man. Honestly, like teaching 30 kids, like that's not a I personally don't think it's a realistic task to do that well.
Yeah, you're
There's
absolutely right.
it's way too many humans to
Especially if there are many of the students who have emotional needs, unmet
totally.
emotional needs. I mean, it's like I have, it's interesting you were talking about your experience in school dealing
Hmm.
with attachment issues. My
Right.
experience is that the student is finally feeling comfortable with the hour that we spend one-on-one together in the
Right.
resource room. But the problem is that she doesn't want to go back.
Oh yeah, most kids don't because they're like they love the connection. It's intentional connection. So why would I go back to a room where I'm not seen?
Right.
I'm
So,
not listened to.
yeah, there is another on one of your podcasts, which, by the way, I recommend. Please, please, everybody, go look up Travis Goodman YouTube channel and also, of course, Wired for Connection on the Polyvagal Institute interviews. His interviews are so, how shall I say, they bring out vulnerable sides
Mm,
of big, strong guys you never expect to talk about their emotions. And then they
mm,
talk about it in a way, like, for example, um, was one of the things I learned is that a lot of these guys, they really want to connect, but they
yeah.
haven't found the way. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, they talk about how, feeling belonging in school, in middle school, has to be kind of shut off
Hmm.
because the opposite of belonging, they say, is fitting in. I was
Yeah.
like, what did they say?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was that was like another. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I agree. Because we all look, and women too, this is not just men. We all need relationship. And this is based on, again, I think polyvagal theory really puts that out. We all know this. I mean, polyvagal theory is not, it's not like a new concept. It's
No,
just, it was put together with some backing science that I think we've known since the dawn of man, if that
absolutely.
makes sense. I think what Dr. Portis did was like the concept of co-regulation really, which is what they were doing with attachment theory years ago, which is really we've known this, but we now put the science and research behind to kind of prove
Yeah.
that we need relationship and we need
Yeah.
safety, we need community. And thankfully the science is showing that, but it's like humans have known this though since the dawn of man.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Like, there's a reason why we're in relationships or tribes, like coming together, supporting each other, like nurturing and comforting and guiding. Like, you know, tribes have been doing this from the beginning, so it's not new. I think it's newer in the West, like in this idea of like the science, and we need to prove everything,
Exactly.
which I'm fine with proving. But we all need to be, we're all looking to be seen,
Yeah.
to have belonging, to be accepted. Because here's the thing I hear with all my people I work with, again, 99.99% of the people, is we all fear the same thing. We might say it differently, but we all fear that essentially, if people really know me,
Yeah.
If they really know Travis, especially if I'm stuck in that kind of shame-based belief system, if
Yes.
they really know me, they're gonna find out that I'm worthless or not enough.
Right.
Therefore, they'll reject me and leave me and I'll be alone.
And I'll do it first.
And I'll do it first. I'd rather control that. They're like, nope, not going to go there. I'm not going to really reveal because if I show you, you're going to really know this about me. And that's terrifying. So let me find a way to like secure myself
Yeah.
through, let me just produce more. A lot of men that I work with get stuck in the production. Let me produce more. Let me
Yeah.
produce. And
Hmm.
Brene Brown talked about this in her book, Daring Greatly, that a lot of men get stuck in the trap of production, of achievement to try to prove or gain their value or worth. But what we know is that that's a vicious, unlimited, like black hole.
Yeah.
Because once you achieve whatever the heck you think is going to be enough, well, guess what happens? That goalpost moves.
Yes.
Now you need to achieve more
Yes.
because it's still not enough. And so it constantly creates this need to achieve and to produce. I have to secure my value. And so I have to do different things to armor myself because if I let my guard down and I'm really seeing something bad will happen. Now, quick caveat. Off, a lot of men that I've worked with, there has been real harm done explicitly to them or told to them. So I want to say that
As far as
just
what?
open, huh?
As far as what? Harm done.
Oh, as far as that they are worthless or they're hurt, they've been abused or mentally abused or told that they're a piece of trash or worthless by people around them. So there's been often some explicit pain around opening up, right? Because, for example, if I open up, well, what my dad hit me. Well, that's you learn that. Why would I open up again? Why would I risk being hit
Right.
or verbally hit? That verbal abuse, they've shown this in the brain studies too, could be just as painful
Totally.
as being physically hit in the brain.
Totally.
So what we learn is that, hey, if my environment is not safe growing up consistently, why in the hell would I open up now? Like,
Yeah.
why would I do that?
Why
Why? That
risk
makes
it?
no sense. Why risk that? That is
Right.
risky, and that is a danger zone. Like,
Yeah.
that is not good.
Right.
And so, if that's been my blueprint, well, no duh that I'm going to I'm not going to open up. Well, no duh I'm going to like rely on anger or aggression or masking or achievement to prove my worth
Right.
because that's quote unquote safer.
Yeah. And then you feel
But
lonely
then
and
you, yeah,
disconnected.
that yes, then it leads to loneliness because no one really knows me. So it creates this weird dichotomy, polarization of like, but I want to be known, but
Yeah.
like,
I'm too
so it's this
scared.
dance and it makes sense. And so often it's naming that you're right. Opening up to anybody is not actually accurate. It's opening up to the right people. It's
Correct.
finding really good community that oh, I can actually open up here and there's a safety
Yes.
invitation. And that's
Yes.
what I love about men's group is that, you know, which I think is at times more powerful than one-on-one work with me
Yes.
because when we see other men
That's
open
right.
up,
That's right.
it's like this like door, it just opens up and then all of a sudden you get this domino effect
Yes.
of men opening up because as the therapist slash coach slash whatever, it's like, well, I'm expected to do that. So it's different if some other regular guy, even
Right.
though at the end, Mina, I'm a regular guy, I just happen to have
You
some
sure are.
studies. I'm a regular dude. And I try to remind them of that. I'm like, hey, I'm like you. I just happen to have I went to school for this. So but I'm still a guy at the end of the day. Like these are just things I've learned. This is not who I am. You could do this too. Like you could go to school and get all this stuff. Like it's not that big of a deal. But once they see other guys open up, it's just like, it allows space and it creates shared safety and it's amazing. It's like a positive virus that goes around in a way.
Right.
It just trickles in
Yes.
and it's something that happens much quicker in a group setting than one-on-one work.
If you're ready.
Yes, if you're ready. And I've had other guys that have been in those groups that just listen
Yeah.
and they're kind of still hesitant. I remember one group in particular, there was one guy, it took him like almost 3 months before he opened up. But when he finally spoke, like he was really listening to all this stuff. And
Yes.
you could tell that like, he was finally ready to share, but he was like having this like weekly, having safety, feeling something different, but was still kind of hesitant. But
Right.
then finally risked to share. And it was just like profound.
Yeah.
And he opened up and was just like, oh my gosh.
And it's
Um,
rewarding for everybody.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because then it creates this dynamic of like everyone's feeling safe and also it's like you're seeing strength
Yeah.
shown through risking and
Yeah.
vulnerability and and how that is to be strong,
Yes.
like it's a different type of strength.
Strength through
Um,
vulnerability.
yeah, it's courage, it's bravery, it's like it's strength through vulnerability. And men learning that is like so revolutionary. And so, yeah, that's what I would say to that.
I want to also encourage people to get in touch with you and to be part of your men's group because you that's on an ongoing basis and so healing. And I mean, I know Travis, venture out and contact Travis. Thank you,
Hmm.
Travis.
Thanks, Mina.